the cards that Druid has to fear, the combo with Cabal, Shadow Priest, and Shrinkmeister. It's a very late game card, so what that tells me is that probably Priest is going to be the one on the defensive and trying to answer the Druid threats early on, whereas if it gets to late game, I think Priest will have an advantage.
Yeah, which is funny. The Priest it's basically a reactive deck. They just play reactive for the first, what, 12 turns or so, until their opponent just runs out of threats, or until they can build up a threat of their own, or make a combo like Cabal, Shadow Priest, Shrinkmeister to build up a board of their own. And once they do that, it's really hard for them to lose control of it. Because of their spells that just increase the power of their board, like Power Word Shield. They can heal up their creatures to make them trade more efficiently. We saw last game, classes like Rogue, sometimes they just run out of damage.
SilentStorm is going to curve out alright. Fortunately, he didn't have Wall Growth, he doesn't have an Innervate, and he doesn't have a turn 4 play. Meanwhile, SilentStorm, or sorry, the Amaz. SilentStorm, this is probably the best start he can get without an injured Blade Master Circle of Healing play. Usually the Blade Master and Circle of Healing, that's exactly what you want against a Druid. The other option is perhaps coining out an injured Blade Master and then resurrecting it. We've seen that actually being used by Toida and Sea Story Cup, and he used it to great effect. Essentially summoning a 4/7 on turn 3 without the Circle of Healing combo, and it was just insane. It wrecked Druids.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an inconsistent combo, but if it happens, it's nearly a game winner, just because, I mean, it summons the injured Blade Master as a 4/7, which if you deal with the first iteration of Blade Master, a lot of times you won't have an answer to the second one, which is full health already.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you think, like, when your opponent coins out a 4/3, and you're like, oh man, that's so great, I have Wrath, but then it comes back as a 4/7, right?
And you go, oh great, I have Wrath and Swipe. And then he resurrects.
And Innervate. And then the second Resurrect comes like, okay, now I'm sad. I guess I lose.
Oh, great. I have a Concede button.
Yeah. So that's actually a really great draw, a Circle of Healing, which means SilentStorm can deal with the Shade, but in order to do so, he'll have to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
And it might be the health on the injured Blade Master, looks like.
Yeah. He can...
So he can Circle now.
And then heal...
Huh. Oh, okay.
Okay. This is a more consistent way to deal with it. Well, not more consistent, but it's a way that keeps your creatures healthier. Dealing with that Shade when you can be enticing. Like, now at this point, he has to double Circle of Healing to be able to clear it off, if that was a choice. But he also, I mean, he does have, actually, he doesn't really have any other ways to deal with it.
Yeah, this puts SilentStorm in a really awkward position. Oh, Shadow Madness. Oh, that's actually pretty great.
Oh, yeah, that is one of the combos. I was thinking of the Shrinkmaster Cabal Shadow Priest, but this is another one of those combos. This is why this deck was one of, I think it was Chalky said it was called Mind Control Priest, just because it runs so many ways to steal your opponent's creatures. Double Shrinkmeister, double Cabal, double Shadow Madness.
Yeah, if this is anything like Kalento's list, the funny thing about it is that it actually doesn't run Mind Control, but it runs like so many cards that are kind of like Mind Control.
Yeah.
Oh man, so we're getting to that time when it's actually going to be Priest putting on the offensive, because right now the Priest is sitting at 30 health, so he's sitting pretty prettily right now, and he's going to be able to use those combos like Shrinkmeister and Cabal and to take back the game completely.
Yeah, he's almost guaranteed to be able to get a target out of this, because even if he trades his Pod Shredder, which most likely will happen, whatever comes out of it, he'll be able to steal. And if he uses something else, like a Swipe Hero Power to clear it off, then he'll be able to steal it as well with the Shrinkmeister combination. So he's definitely in a powerful position. Amaz does have a good hand, though. Both Ancient of Lores. He has a chance to draw into a lot of bursts. The one thing, though, sometimes it doesn't even matter if you get that burst, because the Priest will just be able to clear your board every turn. Even if you do draw into Force of Nature Savage Roar, it won't be enough.
Hey, look, Echoing Ooze duplicated itself.
One is a lot more sinister than the other.
Yeah, what happened there?
And because of that, he lost his ability to taunt.
Aw, that's unfortunate.
Very sad story.
So that is the story of Ooze, I guess. Yeah, just standard Druid things. 6 mana Ancient of Lore, why not? Putting more onto the board, so a second Arcanized Soul Priest would be pretty good at this point. Well.
Well, hello there.
So what you could do here, yeah, you can powered shield. You can also potentially draw a card before you do the circle. But if you draw a card, that means you won't be able to.
Yeah, I don't think he could do that and finish off the
Yeah.
Ancient of Lore. Which would not really defeat the purpose, but make the combo a lot less consistent. But yeah, now he's in a pretty good spot. He's seen Swipe. He's got a lot of creatures in his hand. He could basically deal with whatever comes out next turn.
Yeah. He can, but see, the problem is after Dr. Boom is played, Amaz will have an answer, and then SilentStorm is actually running out of cards at this point, whereas Amaz has cards for days because of those two Ancients of Lore. It's going to be really hard at this point for if Amaz is able to answer everything, SilentStorm might just basically run out of everything that he could use. But then we see Dot Steal. That's going to be key.
Great way to replenish his hand. Something you never expect coming out of a Priest is Savage Roar. And he actually sets himself up for a next turn lethal with just the Dr. Boom and the Boom Bots.
Wow, so not only do we have two Innervates in Amaz's hand right now, but we have a pseudo Innervate coming from the Emperor Thorzane from a few turns ago. So Big Game Hunter is certainly going to come down, but it's almost as if Amaz at 16 mana now.
Yeah. That's crazy.
The great thing about this board, though, from SilentStorm is that he's seen both swipes being used, so those Boom Bots are probably there to stay. The problem is, I guess Loatheb is okay. You kind of want to get the Ragnar's out, but not on this type of board.
Yeah, with the Boom Bots out, and unless he, it's just not really a great board to rag. Because if you hit the Boom Bot, sometimes if a Boom Bot hits a rag and then gives him an easier target to just clear off, it'd be rough.
Yeah. Oh, this is okay. So he's gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say most likely the Keeper is gonna be innervated regardless of what play he made.
So yeah, this board is kind of weak to board clears like Holy Nova, and it's also actually weak to the Boom Bots that are also on the board as well. SilentStorm can get a pretty good Cabal Shadow Priest with the Keeper of the Grove, but yeah, he's not going to be greedy here. He doesn't feel like he has to save that Shookmeister for the combo. He probably also has another Shadow Mass in there, so he can always use it for that.
Yeah.
I like just going for this kind of play because it sets up more pressure for your opponent, and you threaten that combo with the Savage Roar.
Wow, without even a second thought here. Ooh. He weaves in the hero power, which is going to put him 1 damage outside of lethal with the Savage Roar.
Very key at this point.
Can he draw into 1 damage with the Thought Steal?
The problem is both swipes have been used.
That's it? Savage Roar and Keeper of the Grove. Oh man, killing him with his own cards.
Yeah, I believe Keeper of the Grove, it might have been one of the only cards left in Amaz's deck that could have done that.
Well, second Savage Roar.
Second Savage Roar, Keeper of the Grove. Druid of the Claw would have been too much mana, and no more swipes. So I would have to say kind of lucky there by SilentStorm. But yeah, I guess a little luck is all you need in order. But yeah, both players, they seem to be just running pretty much the same deck. Maybe one has one more Adder Drake. Maybe like Amaz is running one more Zombie Chow, for instance.
Yeah, I think a lot of Druids lately have actually been cutting Zombie Chow from their decks, which is very bold. It's a very bold move. It's basically weakening your matchup against Hunter by quite a bit.
Yeah, Hunter, Mech Mage, and even Zoo.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe one of the reasons that Zombie Chow is maybe not as good anymore, ironically, is that Zoo has been kind of keeping Mech Mage in check, and even though Zombie Chow is very good against Zoo, it's the best card almost that you can get against Mech Mage, because not only of turn 1 Zombie Chow, but also because of Mirror Entities. So possibility for why Zombie Chow could be cut. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Mech Mages have all but disappeared since Zoo started to make its rise in popularity.
Yeah, they're just Zoo and Mech Mage are just very similar decks, and they have very similar matchups. So when Zoo, like in a head-to-head fight, it beats Mech Mage, then you know that Mech Mage is probably kind of diminishing in power and diminishing in the number of uses it has in tournaments.
Yeah, so one of the things about mirror matches is, I always hate to say this, but a lot of mirror matches are draw dependent, especially when the mirror matches are, the cards in the decks are nearly identical. It all depends on who can draw into the crucial threats first. And the good thing about this one is both these guys have had similar starts, and they both have similar hands as well. Emperor Thorsan, neither player is going to get bigger of an advantage with Emperor Thorsan, because both players are going to be able to play it nearly on the same turn. It seems like the first person to play it, though, might have the advantage just because the other one is forced to deal with it.
This is a really awkward board because both players, like, they can't get past each other's taunts. But yeah, just because Amaz has the initiative to play the first Thorsan, and he'll basically force SilentStorm to make the first move and probably make a trade that he's not really willing to trade into otherwise. If Amaz does play the Emperor on this turn, I guess the best response from SilentStorm would maybe be a Savage Roar.
Yeah. And he actually is going to trade here.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So by doing this, he actually does the most work in actually protecting his Emperor Thorsan, because he keeps 2 creatures on the board, which means that he won't actually be able to get to the Thorsan, because he won't be able to get through both iterations of the Sludge Belcher.
Yep.
And he'll punish SilentStorm for playing his own Emperor Thorsan, because if he does, then he won't be able to. He'll have the advantage because he'll be able to get 1 extra turn from it. It'll give him Amaz a chance to remove SilentStorms while keeping his own.
Yeah, there's just 2 big threats on the board right now on Amaz's side, and it's going to be very hard for SilentStorm to deal with them both efficiently. And we can see, like, SilentStorm has to compromise with a somewhat weak play of silencing the Sludge Belcher and giving up his Shade, which gives Amaz a very strong initiative, not only because he will have a lead on board by the end of this turn, but also he was the one that got to use Emperor while his opponent was forced to go for a different, somewhat weaker play.
Yeah, so this gives Amaz sort of a little bit stronger of a board, but it gives SilentStorm initiative, and of course, like you mentioned, having played Emperor Thorsan first, it gives him the opportunity to have bigger turns in the future. It basically gave him like an innervate for like the next 3 turns, in exchange for having maybe a slightly stronger board.
Yeah, I could see Lotheb and Wrath certainly being the play here, and after that you can fit in a hero power. So Amaz will be hoping for something like a 1 HP creature to drop from the board, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that I like the Lotheb much better, because turn 7 is when Ancient of Laurel will probably be coming out, or a possible Emperor, because you denied your opponent an Emperor last turn. So definitely Lotheb, I think, is the play.
Yeah, for sure. You might think Swipe would be a reasonable choice, but like you mentioned, if you swipe here, you're not really building any of your board. And the hero power on the face really doesn't do anything at this stage in the game. Yeah. So it'd be near 2 wasted mana. And in this case, you're making a strong board to be able to deal with whatever's going to come out next turn, like the Emperor Thorsan, which it does. Yeah,
for newer players, what Strifecrow actually taught me was, like, you basically imagine the board if you use Swipe versus imagining the board if you use Lotheb. And it's basically a 3/5 plus a 5/5 versus a 2/4 from your opponent. Compared to if you use Swipe, it's just a 3/5 on your side of the board.
Yeah.
And you just imagine which board is, like, which board do you favor in that scenario? It's going to be the board that has a Lotheb on its side.
Yep.
So just even more pressure being put on by Amaz, and that's exactly what you want to do in the matchup. You want to be the Druid that's more aggressive, and not the Druid that's going more for value.
Yeah, Druids don't really have many ways to come back on the board. So usually the Druid that plays defensively and is having to use like spells to try and come back, and especially later in the game when you're playing around combo, the Druid that's having to like throw their creatures in defensively and try and use spells defensively, usually it's the Druid that loses. Such powered plays are possible with the Emperor Thorsan. I mean, look at that. He's built his board up so big. There's just not many ways that Amaz is going to be able to come back in this one.
A little disappointed here from Amaz. His board isn't as symmetrical as I would like it to be.
Nope.
You just place that Sledge Belcher one to the right. And I don't believe that's it. I don't think there's anything SilentStorm can do from this position. I mean, dealing with 5 minions on the board is kind of a hefty task.
Yep.
So Amaz will take the series, or take this game at least, 1-1. And it's going to be
Do see a Wild Growth start. But the rest of the hand, maybe not so great. Keeper of the Grove, usually fantastic against Hunter. But double Savage Roar in your first 6 cards, first 5 cards.
ouch.
Ouch,
Oh.
indeed.
The hand does improve from SilentStorm though.
Mhm.
So can at least be somewhat happy about that. You know, Companion Leok.
On an
That's-
empty board.
Yeah, that's probably the middle ground. You don't want Huffer in this matchup. It's not Phase Hunter you're playing, so you want to be more consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, especially on turn 4. Huffer just 4 damage. Unlike Face Hunter, not really that important. You know it's just going to get Keeper of the Grove.
Yeah, unfortunately now for SilentStorm, like this Adder Drake will be able to somewhat contest the Leok. We do have to remember that a freezing trap is on the field though.
Yeah.
And wow, even with the Houndmaster, you can actually just trade into it.
It's a Druid of the Claw. That also buffs your other creatures.
How cool.
Yep. Innervate Ancient of Lore. Seems like a strong play here. There's also merit to using Keeper of the Grove if you don't want to take too much damage the following turn.
I can't, even though it's mana inefficient, it doesn't play on curve. I kind of like Wrath Keeper better because you put a minion on the board that you kind of want to get back in your hand. Whereas Ancient of Lore, if you get that freezing trapped and you get it raised up to 9 mana, you're probably never going to play that card again for the rest of your game. This does have some problems filling out the curve though. It's going to be very difficult for Amaz to play something impactful on turn 6 without drawing something.
Yeah, ouch. Zombie Chow as well.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah, it can't even utilize the Savage Roars because there's a freezing trap sitting on the board. And if this turn here, as a Sludge Belcher comes down, if the only thing he does is play Zombie Chow and Hero Power, he's giving up a lot of momentum on the board.
What do you think about perhaps just attacking with the Keeper and then just using the Science back? I guess he's afraid of Snake Trap.
Yeah.
So if it's actually Snake Trap there and you don't have a swipe, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But I think if Amaz knew that that trap was Freezing Trap, he would have done that play of returning the Keeper back into his hand.
Yep. I think so as well. And I think that trade there makes it pretty likely that it's Freezing Trap.
Nope. And he even has a swipe now, so I don't think he's going to be that afraid of getting his Keeper freezing. Yeah, exactly. Because he has the insurance of the swipe, he's going to risk it. And he's going to get his Keeper freezing trapped. And that was certainly probably the correct play because there's 2 Eagle Horn Bows in Amaz's hand.
Oh, this is a really clean turn. And Leok on this board is actually pretty good because you can start to pile on the damage here.
Yeah, so when people say that Midrange Hunter is favored in this matchup, this is exactly what they mean. Midrange Hunter has a lot of efficient minions, and they also have Freezing Trap to back that up. And usually when Druids, even though they get Wild Growth on, they can't deal with these efficient minions. They can't deal with Houndmaster, for example. They can't deal with Animal Companions that are kind of like they summon almost 4 mana creatures for 3 mana. And they can't deal with like cards like Hunter's Mark. And we haven't even seen Hunter's Mark being drawn from the Hunter, so if that ever comes on the field, it's going to be dangerous.
And Druid usually is a class that curves out, like with creatures. Like they play Shade, then Piloted Shredder. Usually they're playing a single creature each turn. Or they're dealing with your board and not playing a creature. And so Freezing Trap just, it can counter Innervate plays as well. Like early on, if you have the same reason Sap does. That's why it's risky to make a big Innervate play early on and sort of go all in on one. It's not a very good hand, though.
Yeah. Amaz is somewhat running out of steam, I guess. At this point, he has to play the hand that he got and just go for face. You realize, okay, so Druid's probably going to outvalue me in the long term, but I think he's very happy bringing his opponent down to 10 HP with 2 bows with an R&B Gal, with an Unleash the Hounds, all he needs to do is either just survive a bit longer or draw into his kill command, and he just has the game, essentially.
Yeah, but if he actually is starting to run out of cards just a little bit, and the cards that he has in his hand are not high impact. Whoa!
Oh.
There's kill command.
Well, speaking of not high impact, we have the kill command, which is probably
lethal.
Yeah, the most high impact card there.
Yeah.
So
7 plus 2 plus hero power. Yeah, I think he does have enough mana. I think that's exactly 16 damage.
Yeah, it is. So Amaz sees it, of course.
Of course, I would hope so. If I see it, anybody should be able to see it. That's the rule.
Don't sell yourself short, TJ. Pretty good player, I've seen.
It's caster math. Oh, thank you. Thank you for calling me a good player. I was just saying the decks I was playing earlier pretty much play themselves. But Amaz with that mid-range hunter is going to take a 2-1 lead over SilentStorm. Amaz is actually 1 win away from getting a plane ticket with his dwarves. Some maidens. Oh, Wild Growth start once again, but
yeah,
everything else is spells.
Yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
I hate that saying.
I'm sorry.
You want to know why I hate that saying?
Yeah, why? Were you attacked by a chicken
No,
once?
I explained this the other day.
Were you attacked by an egg once?
I explained this the other day. A good farmer would know exactly how many chickens he was going to have hatch. He would be counting his chickens every single day, taking inventory, taking stock of his chickens, making sure his chickens were okay.
Inside their egg embryos?
Yeah, in what world would a farmer not count his chickens before they hatched?
In a world where farmers aren't magical and they can't see inside their eggs.
A layman would not count their chickens before they hatch. That's the answer, Monk.
Okay, so this hand actually turned out to be really bad.
Yep.
So 2 innervates, 2 innervates and 1 walled growth plus all spells, the exact opposite of the hand that you want.
Symmetry.
And wow, so double piloted shredder.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is just...
So there's situational cards for days. So the benefit of this hand is that if Millhouse comes out, no, just Shadowboxer, if Millhouse came out, he could have innervated and swiped.
Great.
Yeah.
He could innervate and swipe anything, but if Millhouse came out, he would have felt better about it.
Yeah. So essentially, like, if Millhouse came out, you would have traded an innervate, 2 swipes, and like part of a walled growth in order to kill that piloted shredder.
Yeah, he would have been able to sleep a little better at night.
Yeah, just a testament to how great pilot shredder is sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, this hand for SilentStorm
is just... Even he draws another rat. So I guess SilentStorm can at least find some comfort in the fact that there's no way he can draw worse. Like, if he draws a second Wrath here, we could eat our shoes. But
I've had enough of eating my shoes, Monk. Thank you very much. Well, he does draw into the Dr. Boom, so at least he finds a creature. But I mean, at this point, it feels like it's too late. One of the ways that Druids beat Warriors is by playing a lot of creatures on curve, putting on a lot of pressure earlier, forcing the Warrior in a position where they have to play reactively and defensive.
Yeah.
But when the Warrior's on the offensive, it gives them a chance to preserve their board by removing, instead of preserving their health by removing.
It's also not like those innervates are Savage Roar and Force of Nature. Like, those are also situational cards that would be unplayable in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But at least they would have some value going to the later stages of the game. Whereas right now, those innervates are probably dead. They're probably honestly going to be used for hero powers, fitting in hero powers in later stages of the game until, unless an Ancient of Lore is drawn in the next few turns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Amaz just has everything he needs to win right now. He has Death's Bite plus Grom. He's already got 10 power on the board. Plus, he's going to get multiple turns of Emperor Thorson. Just really great stuff. He also has the removal to be able to deal with everything that SilentStorm is going to be able to put out. I just don't know how SilentStorm is going to be able to come back in this match.
Yeah. SilentStorm... Now, I mean, Amaz can even like set up lethal at this point with 10 power on board, a possible Death Spite, and Grom in hand.
Yeah. So developing the Death Spite here seems like the right play. Then you might as well just throw out the Harrison Jones.
Yeah, I don't see many druids carrying weapons these days.
No, their weapon is their own face. Their weapon is their teeth.
Well, I mean, like, Harrison Jones can't take
Ooh.
away Jirax's claws, so
Well, this is fancy.
it is fancy.
He's going to be able to execute both and set up for a next turn lethal. He realizes that, let's try and speed this game up a little bit. 2 Deathbite in his hand. Instead of making that come over 4 turns, he's going to make it come over 3 turns.
Yeah, he's also already seen both swipes and a wrath, so Amaz can make the read that, yeah, probably SilentStorm probably isn't going to be able to kill these creatures off.
Yeah. And in order to survive, he has to Ancient of Lore for heal. In which case, he's most likely going to lose anyway, because if he does that, he doesn't really have any follow-up plays. I mean, he can Ancient of Lore heal, Innervate, Keeper of the Grove, Hero Power.
I think actually SilentStorm's best move there was Ancient of Lore, and to draw 2 cards into Innervate, second of Ancient Lore, and heal himself.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Or, check out this one. Ancient of Lore for cards, Innervate, Concede.
Okay. That's pretty close to what SilentStorm actually did here. So Amaz will actually take the victory, and he'll be the winner of Group A, and thus win a ticket to the finals of the North American WCA Pro League.
Wow. It is a mouthful. It's really hard to say, but congratulations.